All right, in today's video, we're gonna talk about why you should change out your tent stake lines. These ones that come from the factory, they operate and they do what they're supposed to do. But in my opinion, they're way too short and they're limited on what it can do for you while you're in the field. Under perfect conditions, this will work great. But I'm always planning for the worst when I'm out there. So we're gonna do today is we're gonna change out the lines on this to show you some options and the reasons why we're doing it. So first reason is weight. So some lines, not this one, but some lines are thick, heavy. They're just too much cord for what you need. So you can go for a thinner, lighter line, and then sometimes cords come, they're not reflective, so it's nice to be able to switch it out and put some reflection in there. There's lots of reasons to change this out, but the main ones I'm gonna show you right now. So let's say you're out in a wooded environment and you only have a couple of choices to stake your tent. And when the spot that you choose, one corner of your tent has either a big old root or a piece of rock or just something that won't allow your tent stake to get in and get good purchase. All right, so let's take a closer look at the setup here. You're gonna start with a piece of cord that's about 18 inches long. Once you get all the knots in it, it's going to shorten the overall length to about 14 inches, 15 inches. And that should be sufficient to do what we need it to do. So first of all, let's look at this end of the cord. So we've got two knots here. I don't know if you can see that. Two knots. And the second knot is to prevent the first knot from going all the way up against your toggle. Because if it's cold out or you're wearing mittens or anything like that, if that knot goes all the way up against that toggle, it's really hard to get off and get out, especially if it's cold. So I like to add this second knot, so no matter how many times I pull it and how hard I pull it back, I've always got a nice pull available for me. So it you know, you're not sitting there trying to fiddle with it, take off a glove to try to get your finger in there. It's just, it adds a little bit of weight, but it's just a nice little feature. So then let's go further down the cord. So about 6 to 7 inches away from your toggle, you're gonna put your first loop. Now this loop shouldn't be too large. It should be just large enough to fit your largest stake. So I've got a Groundhog Mini here. I do have the full-size Groundhogs as well, so I've oversized this loop a little bit to accommodate those. And then you're gonna have another 6 to 7 inches on this end of the cord. And I like to put a little loosely tied slip knot on here. That just makes it really easy to get in and put my anchors, whether I'm using a stake or a rock as my anchor. It's just a good option to have, and it makes tying it off quick and easy, and you're not fiddling around with it when it's cold. All right, so let's talk about how we're actually going to use this setup in the field. Now, if you have normal soil where you would stake your tent without any special roots or rocks or anything in the way, you're just gonna use this first loop. You're gonna put your tent stake through it, and you're gonna tighten it up, and you're good to go. This end of it, you just leave loose. It's not gonna be useful at this moment. But if we have some hard ground, some sandy soil, now let's say you are on that hard ground, a rock or roots in your way, you're gonna use a tried and true method to anchor it down, and that's the big rock, little rock. If possible, I like to use my existing tent stake as my little rock, just because it's easy, it's available, I don't have to go searching for it, and that's gonna be my anchor that's gonna go underneath my big rock. So basically I set it up like this, pull it fairly tight, and I'm gonna get my big rock, and it has to be sufficiently big enough to hold down to give you the tension you need on your tent. So if you can look over here on the side, you'll see down in here, this tent stake is gonna go up against that rock, and over on this other side, it's gonna pull tight. Now, you should be able to pull this tent tight, and you've got your tent set up. Everything's good to go. Now there's another option. You can use a big rock or a little rock. So we're gonna take this back apart. Gonna loosen this up. And this is why we have the slip knot, because it makes it really easy and we don't have to worry about it again while we're in the field. Take our little rock, put it through, tighten it up. Take our big rock, put it on top. And now we have an anchor point that keeps our tent nice and taut. So, why do we make this line long? There's a couple of reasons. One, if you make it too short, you don't have room to adjust the tightness of your tent. So let's say we were just using that as our anchor and we tried to put a rock inside and we tried to set a rock on top. We have no adjustability here. There's no way to adjust tension aside from just moving this back. The other thing it does is it allows us some space for ventilation. So if you have this all the way up here like this, your tent is going to be down on the ground and you're going to get very little ventilation inside your tent. You're going to get condensation buildup and it's going to be a big mess in the morning. So real important to have that ventilation, which is why we have this longer cord to give us that ventilation. See, I have plenty of ventilation underneath the tent, and that's just the best way to go about it. So that's it for today. I want to thank you guys for watching again. I really appreciate your support of the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe up in the corner, and I'll see you next time.